Mama just hung her head and said, son, Papa was a rolling stone, my son now. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left me was alone. Hey, hey, hey. Papa was a rolling stone. Yeah. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left me was alone. Well, hey, hey. Hey, Mama, is it true what they say that Papa never worked a day in his life?
And Mama, some bad talk going around town saying that Papa had 3 outside children and another wife. And that ain't right.
Heard some talk about Papa doing some storefront preaching, talking about saving souls and all the time legion, dealing in dirt and stealing in the name of the Lord. Mama hung her head and said, Papa was a rolling stone, my son. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. Now listen to me, Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. Now. Hey Mama, I heard Papa call himself a jack of all trades. Tell me if that would send my Papa to an early grave. Folks say Papa would beg, borrow, and steal to pay his bills. Hey Mama.
Please welcome Senator Tammy Ball.
Hello, Wisconsin. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to be here today, and it is an honor to welcome Kamala Harris back to our state. Having Kamala back in the state again makes it clear that this campaign knows that the path to the presidency and to control of the United States Senate runs directly through our state, because we are the battleground state in this election. Right? Wisconsin will decide who our next president is. And Wisconsin will decide which party controls the United States Senate. No pressure. No pressure. And speaking of that U.S. Senate seat, I'm being challenged by a self-funding multimillionaire by the name of Eric Hovde. And so, just let me tell you a little bit about Eric Hovde. He owns a $3 billion California bank, and he owns a $7 million Ocean View, Laguna Beach, California home. And he has been named among the more influential residents of Orange County 3 years in a row. Now, Wisconsin, We have a green county. We have a brown county. We do not have an orange county, Wisconsin. But, you know, you may laugh, but you know, the stakes of this race are incredibly high. Eric Hovde celebrated when Roe was overturned. He said that he was a 100% anti-choice. Meanwhile, I'm leading the efforts to restore reproductive freedoms with my Women's Health Protection Act, right? And I want women, not politicians, to decide their own health care. And on the topic of health care, Eric Hovde wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act and kick millions off of their health insurance. And just a little bragging here, but I actually wrote the provision in the Affordable Care Act that allows young people to stay on their parents' health insurance until they turn 26. So, if you're on your parents' health insurance, I made that possible. And I will always fight to protect our health care. And on the economy, Eric Hovde is running on something we're calling the Hovde Plan. His plan cuts Social Security by 28%. That would mean the average retirees would be docked about $6,000 per year. Why? So he can give a $4 trillion new tax cut to big corporations and multimillionaires like himself. But with Eric Hovde, it's more than that. He's insulted just about every one of us, right? He's insulted farmers, single moms, kids of single moms, the LGBTQ community, seniors in nursing homes, young people, immigrants in our state, people struggling with their weight, you name it. It seems to me that if you're not a rich guy like him, he doesn't think much of you. And it's clear that he has spent much more time on his private beach in California than on a factory floor or family farm here in Wisconsin. So I think here in Wisconsin, we deserve a senator who understands us, who fights for us, who likes us, not one who insults us, right? So the stakes could not be higher for our reproductive freedoms, for our health care, for our economy. We have the choice to embrace our state motto, which is forward, or let Eric Hovde take us backwards. And you know what? We're not going back. It is amazing to see all of you here. This is so exciting to be in Wisconsin with all of you, and of course our special guests. With the energy that we have in this room, with this crowd, I know, you could say it with me, that together we will fight and together we will win. Thank you.
Always in the lead, who you wanna be, I'm who they wanna be, B-E-A-U-T-Y-E, never seen so much.
Ella casi ni sale, la traición no el amor, tiene par de amistades, pero no quiere relación, donde va sobresale, en sus ojos se ve la ilusión. ilusión. Pero llamó a su amiga que se olvide que esta es su canción. Y baila, baila, baila. Ponle música pa' que esto no pare. Baila, baila, baila. Tengo que besarte antes que se acabe. Baila, baila, baila. Ponle música pa' que esto no pare. Baila, baila, baila. Tengo que besarte antes que se acabe. Me gusta cómo te ves, moviéndote así es, dejando la timidez. Me gustas demasiado, aquí me tienes deseándote, toda la noche imaginándote, por el cuello besándote y por la mano agarrándote, que conmigo tú te vas a hacer algo más que no puedas olvidar. Conmigo haces sentir lo que no has sentido con alguien más. Conmigo tú te vas a hacer algo más que no puedas olvidar. Conmigo vas a sentirte mejor. Baila, baila, baila. Ponle música pa' que esto no pare. Baila, baila, baila. Tengo que besarte antes que se acabe. Baila, baila, baila.
Please welcome Jennifer.
My name is Jennifer Neary, and I am a mom from Oshkosh. It is such an honor to be here to welcome Vice President Kamala Harris to our community. On November 8th, 2016, the night Donald Trump was elected president, I was in Children's Hospital with my son, Casimir. He was 17, and he had recently been diagnosed with a type of cancer called non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He was going through his third round of chemotherapy. Before that night, it didn't cross my mind that Donald Trump could win that election. But as I sat there at Casimir's bedside, watching the returns come in on the TV, it felt like the floor had dropped out underneath me. Our country would now be in the hands of this man who campaigned, entirely promising to repeal the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, as we may know it, something millions of Americans, including my son, really, really desperately needed. Well, today, Donald Trump is making it clear that a second term would be even worse for families like mine who rely on the ACA. His extreme Project 2025 agenda would take us back to a time when Americans could be denied coverage for pre-existing conditions or disabilities. And worst of all, he doesn't even know how he's going to do it, declaring he has concepts of a plan to, well, America needs more than a concept, and Kamala Harris has a plan. When elected, Kamala Harris will protect the ACA, ensuring that every American, regardless of pre-existing condition or employment status, will keep their life-saving insurance. Since being elected Vice President, Kamala Harris has strengthened the ACA. She negotiated with big drug companies to cap out-of-pocket costs for prescription drugs for those seniors on Medicare, and she won't stop there as president. This election is a choice between two very different visions for the future. And I am so proud to introduce a champion for all Americans, our next President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Freedom, freedom, I can't move.
Jennifer, I want to thank you. Jennifer and I had a time to visit backstage, and we first met in 2020 on a Zoom talking about the Affordable Care Act, and your son is doing well now. You are an incredible leader, and I thank you so very much. Let's hear it for Jennifer, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Wisconsin, are we ready to do this? Are we ready to vote? Are we ready to win? Oh, it's good to be back. And I want to thank all the leaders, everyone, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives to be here this afternoon. You know, we are all here because we care, and we know that this is about community and of all of us being here together at one time. And I thank you all. And I want to thank my dear friend Tammy Baldwin. Send her back to the United States Senate. Lieutenant Governor Rodriguez. County Executive Nelson. And the chair of our Democratic Party, Ben Wickler. All right, we have work to do. Okay, Wisconsin, 4 days left in probably one of, if not the most consequential elections of our lifetime. And we have work to do still. We have a lot of work to do, but we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work. And make no mistake, we will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. And one of the reasons, and yes, we will win. And we will win, and we will win because we are the type of people who we know when you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. You know what to fight for, right? And in this election, we have an opportunity to finally turn the page on a decade of Donald Trump trying to keep us divided and afraid of each other. We're done with that. We're done. We're exhausted with that. And we know that's who he is, but Wisconsin, that's not who we are. That's not who we are. That's not who we are, and it is time for a new generation of leadership in America. And I am ready to offer that leadership as the next President of the United States of America. And Wisconsin, you know me, I'm not afraid of tough fights. For decades, clearly, for decades, I was a prosecutor and the top law enforcement officer of the biggest state. And I won fights against the big banks who ripped off homeowners, against for-profit colleges that scammed veterans and students, against predators who abused women and children, against cartels that trafficked in guns and drugs and human beings. And I pledge to you, if you give me the chance to fight on your behalf as president, there is nothing in the world that will stand in my way. And look, and on the other side, we know who Donald Trump is. Now, this is not someone who is thinking about how to make your life better. He is someone who is increasingly unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and the man is out for unchecked power. He's out for unchecked power. And in less than 90 days, you can picture the Oval Office. In less than 90 days, it's either going to be him or me sitting in the Oval Office. With your help. Okay. let's help the friends and family and neighbors who are not here right now. Imagine that for a minute, right? January 20th, Oval Office. It's either going to be him sitting in there poring over and stewing over his enemies list, or when I am elected, it will be me walking in there on your behalf working on my to-do list. Because we got work to do. Because we have work to do. And at the top of my list is bringing down the cost of living for you. That will be my focus every single day as president, including I will give a middle-class tax cut to over 100 million Americans. We will enact the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging on groceries. And fight to make sure that hardworking Americans can actually afford a place to live. And one of the things that we were talking about backstage is about the importance of people being able to care for their family members, and including and in particular their elder family members. And some of you may know, and this is personal for me, as are so many of these issues. I took care of my mother when she was sick. And I know what it is in terms of taking care of someone and just trying to cook the things that they feel like eating, right? Just trying to help them put on a sweater. Trying to think from time to time, what can I do to put a smile on their face or make them laugh? It is important work, and it is work that is about dignity. It's about dignity. And if you are caring then for an elderly parent or relative, my plan is to cover the cost of home care under Medicare so you don't have to worry about either spending down whatever savings you have to qualify for Medicaid or quitting your job and cutting off a source of income to be able to stay at home. In particular, if you're in the sandwich generation, meaning that you are taking care of your kids while you are taking care of a parent. It's about dignity. And my plan will also lower the cost of child care. Again, about dignity. About dignity. My plan is to prioritize cutting taxes for small businesses. Do we have small business owners here? I love our small businesses. You are part of the backbone of America's economy, and that's the work we will do. We will do the work of lowering health care costs because I believe so deeply and strongly, access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. It's about values. It's about values. On the other hand, Donald Trump's answer to the financial pressures you face are the same as they were last time. Another $1 trillion in tax cuts for billionaires and the biggest corporations. And this time, he will pay for it with a 20% national sales tax on everything that you buy that is imported. Clothes, food, toys, cell phones. A Trump sales tax that would cost the average American family, economists have measured it, more than $4,000 a year that you are not paying, you would have to pay because of that tax. And on top of that, as we have discussed, he still wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which would throw millions of people, millions of Americans, off of their health insurance and take us back to the time when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. You remember what that was? Well, you are correct. We are not going back. We are not going back. We're not going back. And we are not going back because just like Wisconsin's state motto tells us, we will move forward. for the future, and it is a fight for freedom. Like the fundamental freedom of a woman to be able to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. And we remember how we got here. Donald Trump, when he was president, hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. They did as he intended, and now over 20 states have a Trump abortion ban. Imagine, in America today, 1 in 3 women lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban. Many with no exceptions, even for rape and incest, which is immoral. And Donald Trump's not done. He would ban abortion nationwide, yes, even here in Wisconsin were that to happen, and he would restrict access to birth control, put IVF treatments at risk, and force states, get this, to monitor women's pregnancies. Just Google Project 2025, which I still can't believe they put in writing. And let us agree, one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government shouldn't be telling her what to do. Not the government. Not the government. Not the government. And when Congress, together with Tammy's leadership, passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom nationwide, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. I will proudly sign it into law. So, Wisconsin, I am asking for your vote. I am asking for your vote. And here is my pledge to you. Here is my pledge to you. As president, I pledge to seek common ground and common sense solutions to the challenges you face. I pledge that I am not looking to score political points. I am looking to make progress. And I pledge to listen to those who will be impacted by the decisions I make. I will listen to experts. I will listen to the people who disagree with me. Because you see, unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe that people who disagree with me are the enemy. He wants to put them in jail. I'll give them a seat at the table. That's what a democracy is about. That's what leaders do. And it is my pledge to always put country above party and self, and to be a president for all Americans. For all Americans. That is my pledge to you, Wisconsin. So let me ask, we're 4 days out. Who here has already voted? Oh, wow! Oh, my goodness. That's great. Thank you. Okay, well, here's what I want to ask. I want to ask a little more of you. Please talk to your friends and family and neighbors and share your perspective. Share why you have taken the time out of your lives to spend this time here when there's so many other things you could do. Let them know, because this moment, I think, really is our opportunity to reconnect with people and remind them they're not alone and build community. And so please, share with them why this election is important to you and encourage them to make their voices heard. And for anyone who's not yet voted, no judgment. But please take a moment now to just think about what your plan will be for when and where you will vote. And please go to iwillvote.com. Yes, I have a website. For all the information you might need about when and where you can go to vote and where to drop off your absentee ballot. And Wisconsin, truly, we need everyone to vote here. You, Wisconsin, are going to make the difference in this election. You will make the difference. You will make the difference. And so it all comes down to this. We are here together because we love our country. We love our country. And when you love something, you fight for it. And I do believe it is one of the highest forms of patriotism, an expression of our love of our country, to then fight for the ideals of our country. That's what this is about. And it is fighting for the promise of America. And I'll tell you, I have always believed in our nation's promise because I have lived it. I grew up as a child of the Civil Rights Movement. My parents took me to the marches when I was in a stroller. And there were people there from every walk of life who came together to fight for freedom and for opportunity. Growing up, I saw how hard my mother worked to raise my sister and me and to give us the same chances that our country gave her. And I was blessed to have family by blood and family by love who instilled in me, you know what I'm talking about, and instilled in me the values of community and compassion and faith. And I've spent my life fighting for people who have been hurt and who have been counted out, but who never stopped believing in our country that anything is possible. I have lived the promise of America, and I see the promise of America in everyone who is here, in all of us, in all of us, in all of us. This is the promise of America. This is the promise of America. In the fathers and mothers and grandparents who work hard every day for the future of their children. In the women who refuse to accept a future without reproductive freedom. And in the men who support them.